welcome back. We're in the Houston Astrodome for round 8 of the Camel Supercross Series. If you've just joined us, we've been watching qualifying. Now, the qualifying rounds took place earlier this afternoon. It all leads to this, the main event. And the main event is about to get underway. That's Ron Lechien, rider number 4 from Team Kawasaki. He comes out of El Cajon, California. There's the series points leader and winner of the last 2 events in the series, Jeff Stanton from Sherwood, Michigan. He's rider number 7. Stanton, his mechanic beside him, buckling his helmet, ready to get down to business. The waiting is over. The nerves, the tension on the line have got to be at a fever pitch. There's the card from the starter going sideways. It's a signal for the rider that the gate is going to drop, and the main event is going to be underway, and there it goes. Round number 8 of the Camel Supercross is underway in the Houston Astrodome. A minor altercation in quarter number 1. None of the pre-race favorites involved. There's Ron Lechien on the inside on the green Kawasaki. He's number 4. He takes the good line and squeaks out the lead. Right beside him, number 7 is Jeff Stanton. Behind them, Johnny O'Mara working his way toward the front of the pack, and O'Mara currently running 4th. That's Dennis Hawthorne on that green Kawasaki in 3rd. Meanwhile, out in front, it's still Lechien, followed by Jeff Stanton, and there goes O'Mara to the inside. The Osho, the 1984 Supercross champion, has taken over the number 3 position. It's Lechien, Stanton, O'Mara. Those 3, they've been here before. They know what Supercross riding, Supercross action is all about. It's going to be a battle royal before this one is over. Only 2 riders have won main events in this 1989 Supercross season. Rick Johnson took the opening 5 rounds of the series, but Johnson is no longer in contention. While practicing for the opening round of the National Championship Outdoor Motocross season, Johnson fell victim to a crash. As a result, his right wrist, his throttle wrist, was seriously injured. Now, Johnson has undergone reconstructive surgery. However, he is not expected to return to the Supercross Series in 1989. Now, Jeff Stanton, running in the number 2 position, is the only other rider to have won an event in this series. Stanton has, in fact, won 2 of them, the last 2. And there he goes to the inside of Lechien. He's looking for win number 3. He'd like to do it here in the Dome. He had a good line coming out of that corner on the inside, but Lechien simply outpowered him, outmuscled him, slammed the door, and Lechien holds on to the number 1 spot. Right behind him in second is Stanton, and Stanton is not about to give up. And look at this, O'Mara is not going away. The Osho is holding down that number 3 spot, looking for a mistake from Stanton and Lechien, and there almost was a mistake. It could have been a serious one. Stanton came down on the rear wheel of Lechien. He just nudged him ever so slightly. If he'd have hit him any harder, they both could have been off the track, and that's the type of break that O'Mara is looking for. Out in front, Ron Lechien is picking his lines very carefully. That could be a problem as this race develops. Lechien is more concerned with Stanton getting in front of him, and Stanton takes the lead. Lechien was worried about Stanton passing. He went way wide to try to keep the line away from Stanton, and Stanton simply squared it off and dove underneath Ron Lechien. Let that be a lesson to you. You've got to ride your own race in Supercross. If you worry about the guy behind you, he's going to knife you in the back, and that's what Lechien did, and Lechien nailed Stanton. He didn't like that pass. He come back and rammed Stanton. Let's go back and take a look at that pass again in slow motion. First, watch Lechien. He wants to monorail around the outside with a lot of power. But Stanton comes to the inside, heads directly for the hay bale. By the time Lechien gets there, Stanton is already there. He has to hit the brakes. Back to the live action, and nothing has changed. Jeff Stanton is out in front, Ron Lechien running second, and the Osho, Johnny O'Mara. O'Mara dives to the inside. O'Mara is going to take over second, and he does it. Johnny O'Mara is having a good year. The 1984 Supercross champion for the past couple of seasons has not put in rides that you were used to seeing Johnny O'Mara put in. This season, however, O'Mara has reversed that trend. The Osho has got the Suzuki working the way he likes it. He's got the power that he likes, and he has been on the gas. When we return, we'll see if O'Mara can stay on the gas and overhaul Stanton. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Rider number 4, Ron Lechien, just a few moments ago, was leading this race. Jeff Stanton passed him and took over the number 1 spot. Then it was Johnny O'Mara's turn. O'Mara on the yellow Suzuki passed Lechien to take over second. Now, just prior to the pass, I had mentioned that O'Mara was having a very good year. Earlier, we talked to the former Supercross champion about that.
My speed's there. I just had, you know, a couple races where I've been in the top 3, but I haven't won one yet, and it's I'm far due, I think, overdue for one, and I'm hoping tonight to be the night I can pull this one out for the win.
Johnny O'Mara is indeed overdue. The former Supercross champ had a healthy lead in the opening round in Anaheim, California, with a mechanical problem put him out. In round number 2 in Seattle, Washington, it looked like O'Mara was going to run away with that one, but he got over-anxious and fell. But as O'Mara said, he's been making progress, and this could be his night. Speaking of progress, the first Supercross was held in the Houston Astrodome way back in 1974. Progress? There's been a lot of it since then. Here's Gary Bailey with a look at what the riders were riding back then.
We can talk all day about the differences between the bikes today and what was popular back in the early 70s when Supercross first got started. But unless you were there, words are not enough. Let's take a look at 2 Yamahas to see the difference between what was popular then and what's popular now. There are a lot of changes on the motorcycles from the older models to the newer ones. However, the biggest and most noticeable changes would be the suspension. The suspension, being the front and the rear, has a lot more travel than the old bikes. They also use a different design of fork, being an upside-down fork. On the back of the old bike, they used 2 shock absorbers on the backside, where now they use a single shock absorber built more up inside the motorcycle. The bike, having a lot more travel, absorbs the holes a lot better on the racetrack. The other thing that we have is the bikes are now water-cooled, where they were air-cooled and had large fins on them before. The cylinders now do not have fins. They have radiators for the water to go through and to cool the engine. The other thing that's a big change on the motorcycle is the disc brakes. They use disc brakes front and rear, where the old-style wheels used drum-type brakes. There are many other changes on the motorcycle, but these are the ones that you can see when you look at the motorcycle.